really know I'm running first in this race. As I laugh in their face, leaving the dust without a trace. I got facts with nothing to prove, absent a lack. I flow on this track with straight precision. I attract what I want, it's my decision. I didn't forget, I'm the devil that didn't want but couldn't crack. So get back as I attract, but don't front. Old school, leaning in the back of a white Cadillac like the Mac. It's like a drought not feared until no rain. Or better still, joy you never knew, absent of pain. Excuse me, let me refrain. Damn, isn't that insane? Anyway, let me shift gears, stay in your lane. As I'm driving it through the truth, that's what I do. I know who I am, but who are you? Snakes and...
All right, hello, welcome, good morning, welcome family to the good word, Mr. Frederick. All right, guys, I have a very good message today that I want everyone to take in and take heed to. It's very important. I know this message for me has definitely helped me learning these lessons and that I share with you guys as a life coach. Very, very important. This one's really good because it involves vices. All right, guys, get right into it here. Okay, so this lesson today, message rather, feel like it's a lesson, but it's a message. It's a message from the Lord. The Lord uses me as a vessel to give these messages out. Hopefully I'm not too preachy, but I just try to do it as authentically and as honestly as my vessel can, specified to who I am. This is about vices, okay? And the message today, family, is why you have these vices. And I think a lot of people that have struggled or suffered with addictions in the past, this is near and dear to my heart because I know I have. In the past, I had all sorts of things going on, all sorts of vices that I had to overcome. And I'm very proud and I'm blessed by the Lord that He was able to work on me enough. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus, to overcome these vices. But I know that I'm not the only one. I know it's a lot of people out there, whether they acknowledge them, whether they are able to at this point to accept what they're dealing with or not. They're still present and they still present a challenge for them in their life to overcome. So that being said, guys, no, it's a mouthful. Vices. And when we're talking vices, we're going to paint this with a broad brush, family, because it could be a myriad of things that you have become accustomed to doing that just aren't good for you. Physically, mentally, spiritually, they just aren't good. And I'm talking smoking, I'm talking weed, I'm talking alcohol excessively, I'm talking, it could be sex, it could be, it could be just being overly aggressive. We have individuals that have road rage, get angry on the road, angry behind the wheel, or anger management. That's a vice. Some people, their anger is something that they're addicted to. They're addicted to lashing out on others, which can be extremely dangerous, as we know. Food, it could be food. Some people eat excessively and they eat the wrong things, which they know are wrong. That's a huge vice. Sometimes it's environment. Some people are addicted to going into the wrong environments that they continuously get a bad result from. So again, I'm painting this with a broad brush, family. But the key today that I want to express to everyone is that these vices, they're there, yes. But typically they are there as a coping mechanism for a larger, broader issue that one is dealing with, okay? So, just to give you guys an example, share a little personal history with me. I think on one of my videos, I believe it was, I make so many, but it was not too long ago. I can't remember the title of it, but I was talking about me having some issues with social anxiety years ago that I had to deal with, and I really had never dived into it. I just kind of did what I knew what came naturally. And so for me, dealing with the social anxiety that I had, it was my go-to vice was alcohol. When I would go out or whatever, and sometimes not even going out, just trying to calm myself. And that's how these vices become a slippery slope. It starts out, okay, it's situational. Oh, this situation, I'm going to just do a little bit of this just to get me through. And you start that way, not knowing that your body actually becomes accustomed to these things, these vices, and your body physically become addicted. And it could be different situations. So now you've used it for this. Now you're using it for work. Now you're using it for relationships. Now you're using it for any sort of situation in your life, excuse me, where you have had some sort of unease or uncomfortable feeling dealing with. You know, it could be just confrontation, just someone that you're uncomfortable with. And I can tell you, family, that my reasoning for it was being around individuals that have wronged me. And, you know, it's difficult when these individuals are in your family and you're trying to, you want to get along with them, you want to interact with them, but your mind knows, no, we have issues. We have deep issues that have not been resolved. And so it's that conflict, it's that cognitive dissonance, it's that friction of your mind and your body. They're like saying, wait a minute. And so when you move a vice in, alcohol, weed, some people harder drugs, cocaine or whatever. But for me, again, the primary was alcohol. And so when you move in that vice, it creates a buffer. It creates a blurred vision, a view of the situation where it's like, let's just put it in the past. When in reality, you don't need to push these things in the past. You need to address these things because it does not go away with you temporarily having that escape. It doesn't. It's still there. It's still present. And compounding factors is you're now creating an addiction. Okay, so all of these factors coming in, your body, your soul, God is telling you, deal with this issue. Deal with this issue with this person. And unfortunately, these things can be generational, where you have parents that didn't deal with their issues, so they found another way to go through it, and you've seen them cope through alcohol or through whatever they did. And so it just gets passed down, generation to generation. This is how we deal with things in our family. Just have a drink. And that's not going to do it. That's not going to suffice. So family, we want to move away from that. So I tell you my personal issues that I had to overcome so I can unlock someone else's ability to relate. And there's someone out there that has the same issue. Maybe they don't use the same vice, but we'll get into that later. So that being said, your vices were brought about from the wounds that you had not healed. And now you're spreading over to other parts of your life. So now I had to, use that to be around these family members. So now I'm using this to be around relationships that intimate relationships that I developed over the years that have friction, so now you're around people who've crossed you, who've double crossed you, who've shown dismay, people who are just bad for you to be around, which is extremely dangerous. Family, anybody who has shown you animosity, backbiting, all of these types of things, double crossing, anybody who's shown you these things, you need to get away from them. There's no vice that should make you be able to continue to be around. It's like putting your head into poison just a little bit every day. Eventually, it's going to destroy you. If the poison doesn't destroy you, just your psyche is going to be destroyed. That's insane to continue to do something that hurts you. So it's developing a repetitive negative pattern to your whole being, okay? So that's one of the keys you want to look for. And, and also, you got to realize sometimes we do these vices because we're trying to keep the peace. Everyone, family, does not need to be happy in order for you to be happy. Okay, listen. If they're not happy, that's their responsibility. They got to work on their things. You have enough stuff just working on your stuff. Okay, when you take on the burden, the guilt, the shame, everything of everyone else, that's a lot of pressure. So that will lead you to vices. You're trying to make everything cool with everybody. And see, this again, these are if your foundation, your parents, if they didn't have the skills, or maybe they did and they didn't want to do the work to exercise the skills, now that's passed on to you. So they're dumping all that stuff on you. When they are the primary caretaker, they're the one who created the problems. You see how faulty this is? And now sending you out in the world with this mentality. You're going to be eaten up. And you're lucky to survive all of that. But the grace of God, he can do anything. So that's why he uses some individuals to be able to, are strong enough. They have the right mix of intellect, heart, faith, emotional stability, control, and blessing and protection to get through these things so they can share and be a guide for others, okay? Because we're all connected. Each one teach one, you know? So, yeah, that's how it spreads, guys. And when you start to dissect things, you go into the truth. And you start to get away from the vices. Because the truth sets you free. So now when you're the truth, okay, I don't need to be around these people. Okay, there's not my responsibility for the whole situation. Probably none of the situation. You put the onus back on them where it belongs. They don't want that, but it needs to be there. You got to do what's right for you. Okay, you're going to get friction and they're going to, because usually these type of people are narcissistic, sociopaths, psychopaths. These are sick people, family. So they have no choice but to spread their sickness to everyone they're around, psychologically, emotionally. And you don't want to take on that burden. So if someone is that mentally unstable, you need to get away from them. They're going to lie on you. They're going to do all sorts of manipulative things to everyone you know because they can't affect you. You're healed to a certain point, but they know everyone else around you is not. And probably weaker to and easier to infiltrate. So they're going to use all these sorts of isolation, lying, and basically gaslighting. Basically, they're deceptors. They're going to use all of the negative, evil factors that they could use in order to make you the bad guy and to alleviate any responsibility off of them. This is what bad people do. So it's no surprise. But you got to call it out if you know it. What you got to understand, too, is, you know, these strongholds, these vices, will continue to destroy your life if you don't get them in check. Okay, they will. They will destroy your life completely, you know, and you got to keep the narrative of truth and not false narratives, because the false narratives bind you to the vices. I'm the bad guy. I'm responsible for everyone's happiness. Guilt, shame, blame. These are low vibrational mentality, emotions. It's going to keep you on a low vibration, and now you're going to reach to more low vibrational people, places, and things, all tied together. And you got to cut those chains, family. You got to cut them off. You know, you got to cut them off, and you got to know it's not your fault. A lot of these things are set up to destroy you by the devil, by the enemy. It's quite simply the enemy, and the enemy wants to trick you out of your gift. But see, this is the beauty about God, and this is why I always tell individuals. It's why I lead people to the Lord, because that's what saved me. All credit to the Lord Jesus Christ above. Understand, what the devil meant for evil for you, to destroy you, God will take that same thing, heal you, and explode and expose your gift. Okay? Where you might have been using your gift for, in my case, sales, making money for companies and yourself and da-da-da. You know, getting ladies, whatever it is, man, whatever you are. You're using your gift to get whatever you want to get for yourself. Okay, not really touching your soul, but touching your external validation. You know, not going deep into what really satisfies and heals you, which is God. Okay, but you're using your gifts for all these quick fixes, all right? God will take and flip. When the devil tries to destroy you with all that stuff, he will take that same thing and flip it and get your gift out so you expand and you become stronger and greater. That's the beauty. When you do dive into the truth, you're not going to be destroyed by the truth. You might be scared of it, but hey, listen. Look, how's it go? No pain, no gain. You know, you really have to do the work. Don't make yourself do the work of 2 and 3, 4 people. You do the work on you. And then you see those people that you need to leave alone and let God work on them, on their time. You can't force anybody to be around you, to treat you right, to respect your boundaries, you can't force anybody to value you correctly. They have to come to that conclusion on their own. It's not your responsibility. What you're responsible for is to recognize that this has crossed my boundary. This is an unhealthy relationship for me, and I need to step away from it. What they do with that is on them. But you'll know when it's time, or if you can reconvene or reconcile. Sometimes you can't. Like I said, everything, we don't live in a perfect world. I always say that to you guys. Everything doesn't have to be perfect for you to exist. Your responsibility is to be as emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically stable as you can. You owe that to yourself just existing and being in this world. So you don't let anybody disturb that peace. You don't let anybody disturb the respect that you have for yourself and your God purpose. No, if they want to step in and do that, you know that they need to go. I don't care who it is. Simple as that. So those narratives that you might have from generational curses of, oh, I need to be here for this. No, you need to be here for you. If you ain't here for you, you can't be nothing to anyone else. So that comes from self-love, family, a deep-seated self-love. A lot of individuals might have seen you in an unhealed place where you was not displaying that self-love because you was sacrificing yourself, which is encouraged, again, by unhealthy parents, typically, or some caregiver you had. It reinforced that to you because they didn't want to take on the burden to do the right thing and do what they're supposed to do, which is not your responsibility. Only take on a responsibility for the things that you're responsible for. And once you get in that habit, it becomes a habit because this is conditioning, family. This is programming. And you have to understand it. Understand it when you see it. Get it away from you because unbelievably, this happens so often where people take on the burdens that are just not theirs. Another thing I want to talk about is no price is worth your disrespect. Understand that, family. No price is worth your disrespect. I don't care if it's someone offering you money, monetary gain. I don't care if it's sex. I don't care if it's drugs. I don't care if it's a promotion. I don't care what success, worldly, three-dimensional success that you're getting. It's not worth your self-respect. This will lead you into vices. A lot of people do things because they are not feeling fulfilled inside, so they have to submerge who they are, their essence, in order to do these lowly vibrational things. So that's when you get into the drinking, the smoking, and all this, because something is, your body, your mind, your soul is screaming out, I don't need to be doing this. And that's why you have to blur or mask who you are in order to do it. So if you find yourself doing these vices a lot excessively, trust me, it's a message that you need to get from that. That hey, I'm submerging me. I am literally putting me aside in order to do these things for a shell of me. And you don't do it like that. You have to do things that feed your soul, that feed your essence. Okay? And a lot of times, don't feel bad about it. Part of the way you get to your gift, and your gift really being illuminating and really being able to go to the highest height, is going through that darkness. I always tell you guys, a lot of times in life, you go through the darkness in order to really grab a hold of your light so you can be a light bearer for others. What we can call chosen, we can call it whatever you want to label you want to put it on. But these are individuals that have the unique capacity to embrace their heart, their love, their empathy, at the same time embrace, and they have the strength, the mental fortitude to face their demons and slay their demons. So that's a great combination to have, because a lot of times people that have a very tough interior, not exterior, interior, a lot of times it might be some heart missing there. It might be some empathy for others missing. But when you have the unique combination of both, that's where you really know you have something special. Not that everyone else don't have something special, but your combination is uniquely used by God to help others because you embody both. You embody the dark and you embody the light. And that's where a lot of people get you confused, because they think that because they see that heart on display, they see that love, they see that compassion, they think you're lacking the other part, when it's quite contrary. You have both. You could literally stop habits and vices, anything. You have a strength to you. You can cut people off, need be. And this is given by God, family. And it's polarizing, I know. And so a lot of people, you'll find they either really don't like you or they really do. But that's for a reason, because they can either handle that light or they can't. Or they can handle that darkness or they can't. Because sometimes you need darkness in order to, you can't give everybody your light. Everybody's not worthy of that. And it's times when they have to be cut from that, because they've shown when they get that, they're going to abuse it. And you have to have that capacity to leave those individuals where they need to be. Let them teach their lesson to help you develop, and maybe they can go on and do the same. But you being there, catering to their needs, taking on their demons and responsibilities that you aren't responsible for, is not helping them. So understand that. These are all things that will lead you into your vices. Once you heal these things, you'll find the vices are easier to leave alone. I guarantee you. Embracing that light and being able to enlighten others. Being able to enlighten others, it's like we're chained. Each one teach one. Once I learn, and I learn by example, I show by example. You can either get on board and understand and respect my journey and respect where I'm at, because I can't go back to where you're at. Family, you cannot go back to unhealed places. You cannot go back to unhealed ways. You have to progress. And God gave you that gift. It's a gift to progress. Some people, their demons destroy them completely. We see it with stars. We see it with so many famous individuals that we've heard of over the years where they never could conquer their demons, and those demons destroy them. So when you are privileged, it's a privilege. It's a privilege that God gives you a gift to be able to overcome those demons, and what you do with it from there is on you. But he usually lets you do that for a reason. He doesn't, everything has a reason. So when you overcome those things, when individuals you encounter, they should pick up something from you. And what they get from you is on them. A lot of times you might have to leave their life and they start coming to all these conclusions. Wow, I got some sort of spark from this person. I got some sort of enlightenment. I don't know why I feel this. And they might be confused about what it is. What it is it's God sharing his light through you. And you might not even know at the time, because you naturally already carried everything to do what you were going to do in the future. You see, everything has happened already. He knew who you were before you were born. And this is specifically for my chosen people, but it can apply to others in different ways. Your purpose was already laid out. So that's why I tell people, when someone thinks they're stopping you from your destiny, from what you're going to do, and they can't. It was already written what you're going to do. So everything you go through from birth to time to your last day, it was already written. You were going to do that anyway. Now, how you go about it and the things that take place, who knows? Sometimes we get glimpses of those things. That could be called deja vu. That could be called all sorts of things. But depending on how gifted you are in that realm, you can see things. You can sense things. This is not with your vision, your eyes. This is not with your actual brain. This is something much deeper than that, family. This is your soul. This is your spirit. This is your essence. A lot of things we know and we don't even know. We know it intuitively. How do we know this? That's God. That's God. And that's why I say that at the end of the day, these vices tell you a lot about you. But what you should really concentrate on is why you have the vice. Okay? Because it is a part of your story. And trying to separate the two, trying to separate your story from you is impossible. Okay? Now, only thing that you are doing when you use a vice is doing that. You're taking the very thing that makes you you. We're only made up of two things, family: our experiences and our genetics. That's it. There's no other mystery of who we are other than God, which is not a mystery. We know the Lord exists. So understand this. Separating your story is not the answer. That's what vices do. You want to embrace your story, understand it, work past it, be able to transmute it and use it. That's what the gift. The greatest artists, think of the greatest musicians that you know, their greatest songs, that they've written. Those songs weren't written from nowhere. Those songs came from experiences that they had in their life. Excuse me, I think of Man in the Mirror with Michael Jackson. Things like that. Songs like that. You can go on and on. Dear Mama, Tupac. These songs came from the heart. That didn't come from imagining somebody going through that. Let me imagine this. No, these songs come from the heart, the spirit. Money Don't Matter Tonight. Prince. I can go on and on. Imagine John Lennon. On and on and on. Were songs that from our greatest artists that we've had. Slippin', DMX. These are personal experiences that these individuals went through, and they were able to transmute it through art and create some of the best music ever that touches your heart. You understand? So when you look at this, this is part of your story. This is what makes you great. This is what makes you great. All of these songs. I mean, Bob Marley was one of my favorites. I could think of so many songs that he's made it. One Love. Just experiences that he experienced in his life. And conclusions that he's come up with from your struggles. Or they have come up with from their struggles. So do not run away from you. Understand, your vices is doing nothing but keeping you from you. You want to unite you with you and use that. Don't let it destroy you. Let it implore you to be better, to tap into your essence and the reason why you go through these things. And you might not have all the solutions and the answers, but your gift lies in your experiences and being able to overcome them, understand them, and transmute them. That's a part of your gift. So remember, guys, your vices are for a reason, but the reasons that you use your vices is really what you need to concentrate on. And as you do that, you'll find your solutions. And you'll find you, the best you, the God you. Peace.